One inning did in the Tribe last night. One bad inning by starter Ubaldo Jimenez. Tonight, the Indians have their ace on the mound in Justin Masterson, who shut out the White Sox in his last start to go to 3-0 for the second time in his career. Will Bat Masterson outduel his former team? Find out next on Sports Time Ohio. Another cloudy and cool evening here in downtown Cleveland as the Indians and the Red Sox continue their three-game series. The wind howling off Lake Erie tonight, blowing straight in from center field. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Indians had their ace on the hill tonight, Justin Masterson. And Rick, I want to throw this at you. He's been streaky. He retired 11 in a row in the opener, 13 in a row in his second start, and the last time out, he threw more than 70% of his pitches for strikes.
He's been about as good as there is in baseball this year, and he's made it look easy. He's gone out there, he's relaxed. That slider has been a key pitch for him early in this part of the year. He's getting left-handers out with it. He's throwing it for strikes. He's doing everything he has to do. He's got 19 consecutive shutout innings. So Justin Masterson, the guy that they have to count on tonight to beat the Red Sox, is going to go up against Alfredo Aceves. He is making his second start in place of John Lackey, who left. He's on the disabled list, so we'll see if the big man, Justin, can get it rolling.
Indians need to get the bats going. They've gone 17 innings now without an extra base hit. We'll see if they can snap that skid here tonight. Stay tuned. Justin Masterson will take the ball for the Tribe tonight and try to snap this mini two-game skid. It's the Indians and the BOS Sox, and it's coming up next on Sports Time Ohio. Now we got our eye on you tonight. Indians and the Red Sox locking horns, game 2 of their 3-game set. Boston has won 4 straight. They're 9-4 on the year. And the Red Sox begin the night a game and a half in front of the Yankees. Tribe last in the AL Central, but just 2.5 games off the pace. They are 5-7 so far on the season. Justin Masterson looking to run his mark to 4-0 on the year. Let's take a look at John Farrell's starting 9 that he will face tonight. Jacoby Ellsbury at the top spot, followed by the switch-hitting Shane Victorino, then Dustin Pedroia and Mike Napoli. Daniel Nava, switch hitter, bats 5th. Will Middlebrook 6th. Jared Saltalamacchia catching and hitting 7th. And Stephen Drew and Mike Karp rounded out.
Well, and Justin Masterson on the mound, who is 3-0. He's been just brilliant this year at .41 ERA, coming off a complete game shutout. The win where they walked off against the White Sox in his last start. He threw 72% strikes. He was absolutely brilliant in that game. Let's hope he can follow it up tonight. Let's take a look at the Kia Indians defense behind Masterson this evening. It's Brantley in left, Stubbs in center. Swisher gets the start in right. Chisenhall is at third, Cabrera at short. Cord Phelps is starting at second tonight with Reynolds at first and Santana behind the plate.
The umpiring crew tonight, Tim Timmons is at first base, behind the plate, Mike Winters, the crew chief, is at first. And then Mark Wegner and Laz Diaz. So we're ready to go as Jacoby Ellsbury stands in 1 for 5 last night in the series opener. And Masterson's first pitch runs outside for ball 1. Smashed into left field, a base hit. So Jacoby Ellsbury gets aboard to start for Boston, and already 6 stolen bases on the year.
Off to a good start in the running department.
Take a look at our keys to the game tonight. Continue the mastery. Justin Masterson, 3-0, has been terrific. And try to start early offensively by landing the first blow, because Boston is 8-0 when they score first this year. Dustin Pedroia, Shane Victorino in the 2-hole with Pedroia on deck. Victorino 0 for 3, but he walked twice in last night's game.
Well, going up against John Farrell, former pitching coach of Justin Masterson, he's going to load his lineup up with left-handers. They have 6 in there tonight.
A little bit low.
And there has been only 1 stolen base attempt against Masterson this year. That came in his last start against the White Sox. So he does a much better job of holding the runners, although they were successful.
Two balls and a strike.
A lot of times, if you're the leadoff man, you get a board and you've got your second place hitter up there and left-handed. Sometimes you leave him that hole between first and second and let him shoot at something like that. Justin is a ground ball machine. He will put a lot of balls on the ground in play.
Got the corner, and that'll even the count at 2-2.
Matter of fact, in his 3 starts this year, he's done a beautiful job, averaging just over 14 pitches per inning, 72% ground ball percentage, which is very good. Slider got him in the knee.
Yep. So a 2-2 pitch goes awry. Victorino, they checked to see if he offered at it. He did not, so he gets first base.
That's one of those backdoor sliders. You watch it, it just kept bearing in, and he wasn't looking for it, and it gets him on the back leg, almost the shin. And he's feeling the pain of that, so Boston will start off with the first 2 men aboard.
And now Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia was 1 for 4, drove in a run in a bases loaded walk situation last night. Takes a strike. Masterson, the 0-1. Smashed into right field, a base hit. Into third is Ellsbury. He'll be held there. Good throw by Swisher to the cutoff man, and the bases are loaded for Boston. So the Red Sox come out
smoking.
Sandwich a couple of hits in between around a hit batter.
That's a good approach by a right-handed hitter. That's a nice job by Pedroia, just digging that ball out. Masterson's looking for him to roll it over and get the ground ball double play, but Pedroia, being the right-hander, goes to the inside part of the baseball, takes it the other way, gets a hit, and they just move him along. So they are starting out already. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And Mike Napoli, 2 for 5 last night, 2 doubles. He cleared the bases with a 3-run double in the second inning last night. Takes, and it's a breaking ball for strike one.
Yeah, he pretty much set the table for him. He's the big man in the middle part of that lineup, leading the team with 14 RBIs. But also a good man. You can get a strikeout here, or you can also get that ground ball double play if you make your pitch. And that's what Justin's looking for.
And a base hit into right field. That's going to score Ellsbury. Victorino will be waved home, and it's 2-0 Boston. So Napoli already with 5 RBIs in the series.
Yeah, he's having a terrific start. And here's another approach. The right-hander going the other way. We said he's going to stack that lineup up with left-handers. But when right-handers do this and take that approach, boy, that makes it tough. That back-to-back approaches. Pedroia at Napoli, great job of hitting. So Boston jumps up top early.
There is Daniel Nava, coming off a game in which he went 0 for 4 and struck out all 4 times. And looks at strike one. So Masterson already has given up more runs tonight than he did in his first 3 starts combined. There's a liner to left, another base hit. That's going to bring home Pedroia. Napoli will stop at second, and the Red Sox are rolling early, 3-0.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Their approach coming up here, it's almost like they walked out and they just, as well as Masterson was pitching this year, just punched him right in the mouth, and they've knocked him out. You can see they go the other way. Every hitter's approach. This ball was elevated a little bit, but their approach offensively is outstanding. So already out to settle down Justin Masterson is pitching coach Mickey Callaway, and they're talking, and I mean their approach is good. He's going inside. They're taking him the other way if he's left it up. And he was ahead of Victorino when he hit him in the leg. That's the only chance he had of getting out. Other than that, 4 singles. He's just looking at getting out.
Will Middlebrooks, right-handed hitter, 0 for 4 last night. He struck out 3 times. There's a called strike. The 0-1. Slowly chopped. Cabrera will have to barehand it. Throw. Got him. Nice play by Asdrubal Cabrera for the first out of the inning.
Just get an out. No kidding.
Napoli goes to third, and Daniel Nava is in the second.
Good play by Asdrubal as he has to come in for the barehand. Not hit sharply. I'm thinking, boy, every ball they've hit, they've done a nice job, and Cabrera makes a nice play, and they finally get an out after 5 consecutive guys reached.
Well, as we saw last night, the key is to, not let the inning get out of hand. But Masterson is still in a tough spot here, second and third, and only 1 out. Jared Saltalamacchia at the plate, infield partway in.
Well, I can see it's because Napoli's over on third base.
Swung on and missed.
They can play a little deeper with him out there and hope if they get a ground ball, it's hit hard enough, they can come home if they would like. And they're getting aggressive with Masterson, knowing that he's been throwing a lot of strikes. Their last 4 hitters, 2 pitches apiece.
Well, when you look at his last game and you come in knowing he threw over 70% of his pitches for strikes, yeah, you better go
get
up there
on him early.
Look
Absolutely.
early.
Until and then if he wants to try and get tricky, fall behind in the count, then it's better. But they have been very aggressive.
A little bit in off the play, 1-1. Fouled right back. And Masterson gets ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Down and in. That was the pitch that he was ahead of Victorino, and he came in and hit Victorino with that pitch earlier in the inning.
Well, that's a pitch that's been so good for him to this point. That slider, you know, he's been able to control it, and when he's been ahead, he's been able to get hitters to swing at it.
20th pitch of the inning on the 2-2. Broke the bat.
Come home.
Reynolds, big hop, comes home. Santana makes the tag.
There you
Napoli is out number 2.
That's the way you draw it up. He pulls the ball. It's right to Mark Reynolds. Reynolds had plenty of time to come home, to throw to Santana, and they nail Napoli at the plate. That's why you can play guys a little deeper. You got Napoli running. Reynolds doesn't, he doesn't have to rush himself. Santana takes the throw, tags him, and they get the second out to stop a run from scoring.
So a runner at third with 2 down. And Stephen Drew, the batter. Drew 2 hits and 16 at bats to start the year. And Justin gets ahead with a quick strike. Now the 2-strike pitch. And Drew fights it off to stay alive.
The 2 out runs have hurt the Indians a lot. Coming into this game, they had allowed 62 runs over the course of the year, not including the 3 in the first here, but 30 of those have been 2 out runs.
A little bit inside, a ball and 2 strikes. That's fouled down the left side into the seats. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boston with 4 hits here in the first inning. Just missed inside with a fastball. Very close. I think there's some confusion on the count. The umpire had said to the players before it was 3-2, and then he said, oh, my bad, it's 2-2. The pitch. Check. Did he go? He did, says home plate umpire Tim Timmons. Drew hopping mad. He doesn't like the call. But Masterson's out of further trouble here in the first. Boston gets 3. Indians coming to bat. The Indians starting lineup is presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Brantley leading it off, followed by Asdrubal Cabrera, then Carlos Santana hitting third. Nick Swisher, Jason Giambi, and Mark Reynolds. Then Court Phelps, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Drew Stubbs.
Indians will be facing Alfredo Aceves, who is making his second start. He's in the rotation because John Lackey is out on the DL. His last start came against the Baltimore Orioles, where he went 5 innings, 6 hits, a couple of runs. And that was his first start since 2011. He's usually in the bullpen, but a guy that's a fastball slider. They stake him to a 3-run lead. We'll see if the Indians can maybe do something to get him early and come back.
And Michael Brantley taking a strike. He went 2 for 4 last night. And a count quickly 0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt.
This is the one thing on this homestand. While the Yankees were here, it seems like the teams that jump out early. You know, the starters have given up a lot of runs early, and this offense has to try and come back, and the offense hasn't been swinging the bats that well. So you don't want to have to see them dig their way back out of a big hole.
Well, Boston, like New York, undefeated when they score first this year. Yankees 5-0, Boston's 8-0.
Well, New York did it when they were here. In Boston, they're playing very well on the road, and the amazing thing, they come here for after tomorrow's game, they go turn around and go right back to Boston. They are 5-2 this year on the road. Off to a very good start.
Second best road mark in the American League behind Oakland. Brantley with a liner toward right. Victorino able to make the catch, 1 down.
Let's check out that Red Sox defense, rated second in the league. Have made only 2 errors. In the outfield, it's going to be Nava in left, Ellsbury in center, Victorino in right, making that put out. Middlebrooks is at third, Drew at short, Pedroia at second, Karp is at first with Saltalamacchia doing the catching. Errorless in 12 of the 13 games for the Red Sox. And not one, they don't have an error on the infield. The error that they made, one of them is out in left field.
Asdrubal Cabrera 1 for 4 last night. Takes down and in for ball 1. Cabrera trying to work his way out of an early season slump. 6 hits and 47 at-bats. Popped in the air to left field. Routine play for Daniel Nava. 2 down. There's Carlos Santana. And our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Last night, what a game. 15 walks, 25 strikeouts combined. First time that's happened in the modern era in a 9-inning game.
15 walks and 25 strikeouts. Well, 15 of those 25, they came from the Indians bullpen. They were outstanding.
Yeah, it's only the third time since 1916 that the Indians struck out 16 batters in a 9-inning loss. So usually you strike out that many hitters, it's usually a good thing. Usually you're
boy, you would think so. You know? 16 out of the 27 outs. But you factor into those walks. We also showed you that, and the walks are what hurt the Indians last night.
Yeah, 5 in 1 inning will do you in every time.
And all 5 came around to score.
Carlos Santana quickly in the hole, 0-2, as Ubaldo Jimenez said after the ball game he's going to go back to the routine he had in spring training, which was 2 side sessions between each start. I think people are running out of the excuses and the thoughts of, well, we'll try this. I mean, people want to see results.
Well, you mentioned it last night. You have to be a self-evaluator and make adjustments on the fly when you're out there. Every game, every inning, it doesn't matter. You have to correct things that you feel. It can't be up to somebody else to fix it for you every game.
2-strike pitch. And Santana goes down. So the Indians go 1-2-3. 3-0 Boston after an inning. New Premium McWrap. Fresh vegetables, tasty sauces, and juicy chicken in a warm tortilla. Try one today. And by Kia. Second inning, 3-0 Boston. Mike Karp to lead off for the Red Sox. And Justin Masterson fires a first pitch strike. That's ripped fair inside the bag at third, and Mike Karp's on his way to second base. Brantley with a long throw. It's a tad offline, and Karp's in there easily with a stand-up double.
First extra base hit. I can't tell you enough the approach of this Red Sox lineup going through Masterson and their swings. It's outstanding, starting with the leadoff hitter. Inside out. That pitch was elevated. Pedroia digs it out, goes the other way. Same as Napoli. And then they got Navas stroking it the other way. And then the leadoff hit here, Karp, the first extra base hit, which is a double. I'm going to tell you, that's a great approach. They have 5 hits the first time through the lineup. 5 for 8. And he also hit a guy. You remember Victorino, the second guy up. And aggressive early. They have been.
Strike evens the count of 1-1. Is what does Masterson need to do to counter the Red Sox approach?
He's got to change it. Change speeds maybe a little bit. They've got a nice approach. They're taking everything inside and taking it the other way, so you may just want to start pitching a different way. Sliders away, trying to get them to roll over just like that pitch there. All 5 of the hits that Masterson has given up came on the second pitch. So whatever that second pitch may be, and you got to know that if you're the catcher, you may want to change the game plan a little bit.
The 1-2. Beat into the ground to third. Chisnall had to back up, long throw, good speed. Didn't get him.
Well, Lonnie did everything in his power. It's just the speed of Ellsbury beat it out, the infield hit. He had to break back and go to the backhand side, the long throw, and made a good throw to Reynolds. And they say he beat it out. Let's check it out. He's trying to go the other way. Look at on the line, the long throw. Speed kills you right there. That's bang, bang. And the Red Sox get the call. It's an infield single for Ellsbury.
So 2 on, nobody out. Here we go again. Shane Victorino takes up high, ball 1.
Right now, and he's a guy that's going to apply the pressure. He can bunt and force Chisenhall to field the ball, and go for a sacrifice, or you don't know what he's going to do. He can bunt, he can swing away. He's a slap kind of hitter.
Takes, it's low, 2-0. That's in for a strike. 2-1 to count as Victorino looks over the situation with the first 2 on and nobody out. He could still potentially lay down a bunt.
Well, he likes sitting with guys on base or in scoring position. We can see that. That's where Masterson's been so good this year.
Now it's 3-1. Dustin Pedroia waiting on deck. (3-1) pitch is ripped into right field. Another hit. Victorino comes around third. He stops as Swisher gets off the throw. And the Red Sox, for the second inning in a row, have loaded the bases on the first 3 batters.
Yeah, well, this one you put on Masterson because it's a 3-1 count. He has to throw a strike here, and he just grooves one. I mean, that's right down the middle. You can't be too fine. You can't walk them. So you get a good pitch to hit, and Victorino gets it. So they are right now it's like batting practice for the Red Sox. Already 7 hits, and he doesn't have an out yet in the second inning.
Dustin Pedroia singled to right his first time up. And Masterson went with the first pitch slider. It misses, and it's ball 1. Fouled right back to even the count. Well, the Red Sox have had a good approach, and they have found every hole in the infield. What Masterson needs is somebody to hit one right at one of his guys, preferably himself.
Well,
up high, 2-1.
Now he's starting to do something he hadn't done in his first 3 starts. So it's overthrow.
That was 95.
Getting underneath it. You see the slider. His elbow dropped a little bit. He was underneath it. That ball, he's pushing, maybe overthrowing it, because they have applied the pressure. And I mean, they've gotten on him early. And then he falls behind in the count and he grooves one.
Threw it by him, 2-2. Well, coming into tonight, Masterson hadn't had many tough situations. He had a few, but runners in scoring position, they were 0 for 9 against him coming in.
Right.
Boston's already 5 for 8 to start the game. Think about that. They've already had, this is their 9th at bat with a runner in scoring position.
They've ambushed him right from the first hitter.
2-2. Swung on and miss. He strikes him out. And that is the first out of the inning.
Well, that's the key. He gets him to chase his pitch ahead of him. That ball starts on the outside, goes into the batter's box of the left-hander, and he gets Pedroia to chase it. This is the big out right here. This guy has hit everything in sight in this series.
3 hits, 5 ribbies. Mike Napoli. Now, Mike Napoli is one of those guys, too. You know, from the outside looking in, you don't watch him a lot. You think, oh, he's just a big swinger. He's always trying to hit home runs. But we've seen enough of him to know he will smash the ball to the opposite field.
Well, last night, led off the inning on a changeup and hit it to right center field, and closed off the inning with a fastball in and drilled it off the left field wall. So he will use the whole field. He has enough power to hit it out of any part of the ballpark. But this guy has developed, when he was in Texas, how to become a good hitter the other way, because the ball carries down in Arlington that way.
Well, he's in a good spot here. Masterson, be careful, down 2-0 in the count. Just a little bit outside. And now 3-0.
There's Napoli, the first pitch changeup. That's his first time up, who led off the second inning. Then later on, in comes Cody Allen to try to throw the fastball by him in, and he drilled it off the wall. That was his second double, and that drove in 3.
Takes a strike. So that means he's already had, this is already his 3rd at bat with the bases loaded in this series.
Yeah.
And we're only
once
in the
last night, twice in this game.
Game 2.
He came up and drove in a pair in his last at bat. He's sitting on the hitter's count, 3-1.
Popped him up.
Stay
foul.
in. That's
Might be playable for Reynolds. He's near the railing, makes the catch. Boy, is that a big out for Justin Masterson, and there are 2 down.
Yes, it is. You get through those 2 guys with the bases loaded and nobody out, and you've got a chance to get out of the inning. Very big. See, Reynolds is going to go in there, and there's the fans, and he reaches in. Now he takes it away from that guy with the hat right there. They weren't too aggressive over there, so it's a good thing. When he reaches in, he's able to catch the ball, get it in his glove.
I think that he would have had a case for fan interference because the fan was over the railing. If you go into the stands, you're fair game.
It was close.
But in any event, bases loaded, 2 down. Daniel Nava, an RBI single his first time up. This could be a huge momentum shifter for the Tribe if Masterson can get out of this. And a fastball strike in the inside corner. Big bouncer, foul, first base side. Justin has already made 50 pitches in the inning. The Indians do have reinforcements, however. They tried calling up Corey Kluber when they placed Michael Bourne on the disabled list. So He'll be available out of the bullpen. He used Cody Allen for a career-high 3 innings last night. So that precipitated the move to add Kluber. Now the 2-strike pitch. Mike Karp, who led off the inning with a double, is at third. Jacoby Ellsbury with an infield single on a bang-bang play is at second. And Shane Victorino, also good speed at first base. The 2-strike pitch. In the air to left. Brantley makes the catch. What a job by Justin Masterson. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the Red Sox get nada. Getting out of that bases loaded jam in this second inning, keeping it a 3-0 game, and that's what we talked about. You know, last night you have one bad inning, it takes you right out of the game. If you can minimize the damage, even when you don't have your good stuff, or the other team's got your number, you've got to find a way to, hang on by the skin of your teeth.
That was a very big inning for Masterson. After they came back again and had the first 3 aboard, he gets out of it facing the heart of the order. And I'll tell you, you can't afford to fall back with the offense. They're not scoring. They're not, doing a lot of things right. So 3 runs is big enough right now. So a big inning for him to get out of it.
Well, they've gone 18 innings now. You have to go back to the first inning of Sunday's game when Michael Bourne led off with the home run. That's the last extra base hit the Indians have had. This is a lineup with good power and good pop, but they've been shut down.
That was a wake-up call for Jake Peavy on that game. After that first pitch went for a home run, it was like, okay, let's settle in, and he did.
Alfredo Aceves deals inside. And it's just crazy how the game of baseball is. I mean, the Indians were facing Chris Sale Saturday, and a guy who is one of the better pitchers in the league, left-handed, nasty stuff. And, Reynolds hits a grand slam. Swisher goes deep. I mean, they knock him all over the yard, and then,
Well, 3 of their 5 wins, they beat the Cy Young National Leaguer, R.A. Dickey. They beat Price down in Tampa. They come and they beat Chris Sale.
Beat up Price and beat up Sale, too, in the process,
But the hits keep coming, man. I mean, it doesn't quit. You got to continue to do that.
Nick Swisher trying to get it started for the Indians here in the second inning against Aceves, who takes quite a bit of time out there on the mound. Now he rocks into the windup. Low, full count. Sevis is a different animal out there on the mound. Swisher ropes it. Fair ball just inside the line. Down into the corner. Victorino digs it out quickly, and Swisher aboard with a leadoff single here in the second inning.
That ball went right over the bag. It may have landed in foul territory, but it went over the bag fair, that's for sure. He was ready for it. He turns on it. They wanted that. No, that was one that didn't get inside. They wanted it down and in, and you could see where that ball went over the bag fair, and the umpire, Mike Winters, had a really good call of it right there. And it's hit so hard he could just get a single on it. So the first hit for the Indians.
Sevis gets the sign now, facing Jason Giambi. And Giambi takes downstairs ball one. I mentioned Sevis, he's a different animal out there on the mound. You could also use the term temperamental, loose cannon. He's been known at times to not just shake the catcher off, but at times he'll get frustrated to the point where he will just mouth the words to what pitch he wants to throw to the catcher from the mound. Giambi sends one sky high. Coming in is shortstop Stephen Drew, and he makes the catch. Actually, that's the third baseman Middlebrooks with the shift on who came in to grab it. And that's out number one. Injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And Michael Bourne, who was officially put on the DL today, retro to Monday. And Corey Kluber called up. He'll help bulk up the bullpen because Scott Kazmir is scheduled to come off the DL and make his first start as an Indian Saturday in Houston. Now Mark Reynolds, 0 for 2, couple of walks in last night's ball game. Pitch outside. Called a strike on the outside corner to even the count at 1-1. There is Bourne, who is on the DL after getting 5 stitches in that right index finger, and I can't do anything until you get the stitches out.
Well, and you would think it might be a little sensitive once they come out too, you know, but they can sort of tape it up or put something on there to make it feel better. But Michael Bourne's a gamer. He'll be ready to roll.
One and two the count on Mark Reynolds, with Swisher at first and one down here in the second. Fouled back. Now the 1-2 from Sevis. Little jam shot to first. Karp steps on the bag. 2 down. Swisher moves to second base. With more on the Indians' injury situation, let's go downstairs to Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, Jason Kipnis was out during warmups today taking grounders and throwing. Terry Francona told me that he probably could have been used tonight, but they want to take the cautious approach with him. He could be used in an emergency situation. You won't see him tomorrow facing John Lester, but more than likely he will be back in the lineup when we head to Houston.
All right, thanks, Katie.
Well, you hope so, because you end up essentially playing short when he's not ready.
Cord Phelps. The reason he's here is because of the situation with Jason just being down at the moment. Tried to hold up. He went too far. Strike one. Cord Phelps had a terrific spring, but then a slow start to his AAA season because he was on the disabled list with a neck issue. Had one at bat late in last night's game. Takes a little bit outside, 1-1. Nick Swisher, who started the inning with a single at second base. Down and in. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, just changes speeds. He cuts it into the left-handers about 88, 89. He'll throw the fastball 91, 92. Little off-speed change up there, tries to get you to swing. Just anything, nothing overpowering for Aceves.
Phelps fouls it back out of play. 2-2. Wow, how about that big hop all the way up?
And ready for it, too. She followed it all the way, tracked it well.
Good hands.
Thumbs up. She gets to catch the ball. She's not giving it to him.
Follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah, big hop right into her lap. She didn't even get up out of the chair. Beautifully done.
Struck him out with a high heater. And after 2, it's the Red Sox 3 and the Indians nothing. In tonight, Boston taking advantage in that first inning of a terrific scouting report and a well-executed game plan. You don't want to say Masterson pitched poorly. You don't want to say, you know, he wasn't throwing it right down the middle. He wasn't walking guys. It just they had a great, well-executed approach.
They did. 7 hits out of the first 13 at bats, and 6 of them have come the other way. The only hit that was pulled was Victorino's on a 3-1 pitch, you remember, and he just pulled it on the in the hole. So they have had a very good approach. Whatever
strike call.
I would have loved to right now see their hitting meetings going into facing Justin Masterson. Of course, John Farrell knows him anyway, but you still have to go up there once you get in the batter's box and apply and execute what your game plan is and stay with it. They just had success. And I'm going to tell you, I think part of their game plan was be ready early, because 6 of those hits came on the first 5 came on the second pitch.
Up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, and Justin really pitched well to get out of a bases loaded, nobody out mess in the second inning.
Yeah,
getting Pedroia, Napoli, and Nava.
He could use a 1, 2, 3 quick one.
High pop near the line. Long run for Swisher. Into foul ground. Makes the catch. 1 away. Here's the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. Coming into tonight, Masterson, an ERA of 0.41. He and Clay Buchholz both.
Well, they scored more in the first inning than he'd given up all year. He had a string of 19 consecutive coming into today's game.
They scored more through the first 4 batters than he'd given up all year when they took the 2-0 lead. Jared Saltalamacchia bounced into a fielder's choice. Routine hopper. That's Asdrubal Cabrera with that shift on. 2 away. Got to bring up Stephen Drew, strikeout victim his first time up. Drew started the season on the 7-day concussion disabled list when he was beamed by a pitch in early March during spring training. He is, of course, the younger brother of J.D. Drew, formerly with the Red Sox, and also Tim Drew, formerly of the Indians. Ground ball to short. Cabrera with a bobble, recovers, throws.
Wow.
Still got him.
Wow.
Outstanding concentration by Asdrubal Cabrera as he works his way through a slight bobble and still gets his man. Forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Boston on top, 3-0. Bottom of the third. For the Tribe, it will be Lonnie Chisenhall, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Brantley. Chisenhall taking in for a strike. Down low. I mentioned last inning that Aceves has a reputation for being somewhat of a loose cannon. Last year, he went into Bobby Valentine's office, who was then the manager of the Red Sox, after a game on August the 25th. He wasn't happy about not being used in the game. And it happened behind closed doors. But whatever happened, assuming it wasn't real good, the Red Sox suspended him for 3 games.
So no telling what happened.
It probably wasn't friendly exchange, however. Big bouncer, it dips by Carp, and off the sidewall. Chisenhall's going to turn and head for second. Victorino's throw, and they got him. Nice throw by Shane Victorino, and Chisenhall is out trying to stretch it.
Well, that's where you have to know the guy who's playing right field. He got over there in a hurry. He's got a very good arm. Chisenhall hit the ball right on the nose, but he slows it down. Carp slows it down, enables Victorino. He could have stopped right there and went back, and that's just not knowing Victorino has a good arm and an accurate one, too, because he has been a center fielder most of the time, and he throws them out by plenty.
Now Drew Stubbs, 1 for 3 last night, couple of walks in the ball game. Just a few days after he was suspended by the team for the incident in Bobby Valentine's office, Aceves was involved in a shouting match in the dugout with Dustin Pedroia, who, outside of David Ortiz, is probably the most respected, if not biggest leader on that Red Sox club. And then in September of last year, this one's a really strange one. Aceves was taken out of a ball game on September the 12th. So Bobby Valentine's coming out to get the ball, as the manager does. Aceves gave the ball to the catcher, Jared Saltalamacchia, walked off the opposite side of the mound that Valentine was coming to, and walked all the way around without crossing his path, talking to, or exchanging any words with Valentine on his way to the
surprised he's still there as a Red Sox. Obviously, he must be getting hitters out.
High pop, foul, and this should get out of play, and it will. Yeah, teams will put up with malcontents to a certain extent. But, you know, when you have a history of a pattern of behavior like that, you got to wonder, when is enough enough?
Arguments and fights, and that disrupts the more, the team more than anything else.
Better not cross paths with John Farrell, because
Johnny might crunch him.
Now the payoff pitch. Fouled away. This may explain some of the Aceves situation. He wears number 91 because his favorite player, when he was watching the NBA, was Dennis Rodman.
Oh, okay.
During his time with the Chicago Bulls.
There you have it.
So I think he's taken the Rodman attitude to heart, I guess. Tonight's trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Youngest player in Indians history with back-to-back 40-homer seasons. We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. Michael Brantley, line to right, his first time up. Brantley backs away. Again, Aceves will take a lot of time to get the pitch selection that he wants when he gets a runner on base, sometimes without a runner on base. And he fires a strike to Brantley. 25 out of his 40 have been strikes, so Aceves has effectively worked ahead in the count. Runner goes. Called a strike, throw down, not in time. Drew Stubbs has his second stolen base of the season, and that's tops on the Indians club. He gets into scoring position with one out.
And you can see he can run. He gets a good jump. It's going to be tough to throw him out. Aceves gets rid of the ball pretty quickly to home plate. The throw had to be on line. It was not from Saltalamacchia, and he steals it.
Brantley down on the count 0-2. Moved him off the dish. Up high with it. Count evens. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With 1 on, 1 out here in the third. Tribe down 3-0. Boston got all 3 in the top of the first. You know, we talked a lot about the Indians and the improved speed during spring training and how that should equate to more runs. So far, it hasn't happened as far as the stolen base being a part of it. Fouled off the foot of Brantley. But as we also know, April's not exactly ideal stolen base weather.
No, this homestand's been, you know.
And you've got 2 players changing leads, Bourne and Stubbs, the top headlining speed guys in this Indians lineup now, and they're both trying to learn the new pitcher's moves.
That does take a little bit. It's tough to steal a base when you're on the DL, too.
Can't steal it from the bench, can you?
No, sir.
Well, Brantley was down 0-2. The count back to even now with Stubbs in scoring position. And a balk called. I thought, well,
they were saying they called time.
Okay, time was called, so no balk. Two. Slicing down the line. Nava, foul ball. And pulled up just in time before it crashed into that railing.
Well, MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com for the details.
Aceves fires, and the 2-2 is bounced right at the shortstop. Drew looks Stubbs back, 2 down. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, White Sox in Toronto today, north of the border. 3-0 here in the second inning. After this, Tyler Flowers, his 3rd homer of the year to break a scoreless tie. White Sox have added another in the 4th. 4-0 now, Chicago over Toronto, bottom half of the 4th at Rogers Center.
All right, thanks, Al. As Dribble Cabrera 0 for 1. as the Indians look for that 2-out hit. Three games already wiped out by weather.
Yeah.
The Cubs were rained out at home against the Rangers. The Twins rained out at home against the Angels, and the Rockies probably snowed out at home against the Mets. It's only 23 degrees in Denver.
You know, it's going to be interesting the first year now with, 15 teams in each league, and most teams only coming to play one time in a certain town, how that is going to be made up. Like with the Yankees, for us, we've got to make it up 2 games on an off day when normally we would have been in Philadelphia. But around baseball.
Backhanded by Pedroia. And that is out number 3. Well, they've got a lot of those scenarios playing out all over baseball. It will be Mike Karp, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Shane Victorino. We had a strike to Karp, who doubled just inside the bag at third to start the second inning. But he was stranded at third after Boston loaded the bases with nobody out, failing to score in that second inning. They could have really blown this open early.
Yeah, could have been a game like last night, but Masterson, he dug deep and he was pumped up. We showed you him coming into the dugout after he got out of that jam. And, maybe that set something off in his mind, or triggered something inside of him where he made the adjustment, and now it's got to be zeros until the offense can do something to Aceves. Mike Karp, formerly of the Seattle Mariners.
Cut under that slider, you could see the ball kind of take off.
Yeah, and he at times can do that, get underneath that slider, because he's that sinker ball. He has to stay behind it or keep at least his fingers on top of the baseball.
In the air to center field, Stubbs sprinting back, dead run over his head, can't get to it. And into second base with his second double of the night is Mike Karp, and both times a leadoff 2-bagger.
Isn't that something? He smoked that ball because that ball started doing some funny things over the head of Drew Stubbs. He broke one way and it goes the other way on the left-hander. Normally when you get into center field, and you can see it was a little bit off the end of the bat. You see he breaks, turns and looks, and it goes over the other shoulder. So that ball had a little slice to it from the left-hander. Normally in center field, everything stays true. Well, that ball,
I wonder, too,
it fooled him a little bit.
With the wind blowing straight in,
Could
the
be.
wind affects the flight path a little bit.
I think it did, with the wind blowing in. Normally it's been blowing out on this homestand, but yeah, it did a little something to the baseball.
Jacoby Ellsbury is already 2 for 2, 2 singles and a run scored. Boston with a 3-0 lead.
They have had their leadoff man aboard 3 out of the 4 innings. The only time was last inning.
Left field near the line. Long run. Brantley is there. Makes the catch. 1 down. Here's the AT&T U-verse rewind. And this is Masterson. Second inning. Bases loaded. Nobody out. He strikes out Pedroia. Napoli fouls out. And then Nava, a routine fly ball to left. What a job by Masterson.
Look at, he's fired up. Yeah, something went off. And he knows. I mean, he knows this team is geared for him. He's the #1 starter, and it's his job to stop streaks. And, you know, he's 2-0 after losses this year. And after the All-Star break, he did a pretty good job last year. At least the Indians did when he was on the mound. They were 9-6. And that is what you call your ace. When you toe the rubber, your team expects to win. And right now, with Justin Masterson coming into this game, they're 3-0. He's 3-0. The rest of the starters, they're 1-7 and an ERA of up over 7. So it is very important when he goes out there to win. But the problem for the Indians on this homestand is falling behind early. They've been outscored in the first 3 innings, now 21-8 on the homestand. So they're playing catch up. And it's not a fun thing to do against certain ball clubs.
Down in the dirt, good block by Santana. Carp has to hold at second base. 1-1 to count.
They had a good ball game down in Atlanta today. Kansas City stopped the Braves' 10-game winning streak. 1-0 ball game.
Speaking of 1-0, you had the Reds and the Phillies game suspended in the 9th inning last night. There's a shot to left field, a base hit. Carp was going back to the bag, and he'll have to stay at second. He did not get a good read there. So Red Sox at first and second with 1 out. Anyway, that the Reds and the Phillies game was suspended in the bottom of the ninth. It took 9 minutes to finish the game today. Jay Bruce got a base hit when play resumed. The Reds won 1-0 over the Phillies, and now they're out to a 6-0 lead in the 3rd inning of their regularly scheduled game today.
Yeah. Well, that replay they just showed you, Mike Carp, he didn't know where the shortstop was. You know, normally you freeze on a line drive. But with Cabrera moving around, he didn't realize it, so he couldn't even advance a base on the single.
Dustin Pedroia is 1 out of 2. He struck out with the bases loaded, nobody out in that 2nd inning. We just showed it to you a moment ago. The 0-1. Oh, man, Santana took a wicked smash off that foul. And that's going to bring Terry Francona out of the Tribe dugout. Wow.
Well, that ball went directly right into the mask, so they're going to give him a second. Wow, that was loud. Boy, the umpires know exactly what it's like because they take it as well on a foul tip. But that one, you can see, knocks the mask right off for the head of Santana. He said he's all right. Just look, yeah, look at that jaw. pretty much what they did to Masterson in the first inning. Came out and just punched him. Let them know they were there. They scored the 3 runs, but that's a foul tip, and that certainly cannot feel good.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Masterson checks that runner at second, takes a long look, and then steps off. Justin's already made 75 pitches here tonight.
I don't know what it is, though. And
it's the 3rd time that they've tried to get on the same page with the
that's okay.
Signs, and I don't know if it's
Santana may still be dizzy.
I'm thinking the same thing. He might still be seeing stars. Who knows?
The one thing that we're tracking right now, and Tommy let me know this, the Red Sox have swung at Masterson's second pitch 10 times so far in this game. That's a lot.
This is batter number 21.
Right.
So
half
roughly
the
50% of
the time they're getting after him. That second pitch, they're getting after it.
The 0-2. In the hole, base hit. Carp around third. They're going to stop him as Swisher gets to it and unloads to the cutoff man.
Boy, it's almost like they're looking for something out over the plate and just waiting for it and just going the other way. Thinking if he pitches him in, they'll dig it out. That one gave him a little swinging room and another opposite field hit. They wanted it in. He missed his target by about 1.5 feet. An easy pitch for Pedroia to go that way because that's what he's looking to do anyway. So they have to move him up. Carp, that's 2 singles now. He's been on second for 2 straight singles.
This is the 3rd time in the game and the 4th time in the series now Mike Napoli has batted with the bases loaded.
That the odds don't come out in your favor if this happens too often, does it? This guy, one of their best hitters. You have a chance, I think, of losing more times than not. He was able to get him last time, and with 1 out here, he'd take a ground ball double play and get out of it. Would love it.
Napoli is 3 for 4 with the bases loaded.
Three for 4 now into a hitter's count, so he can get a little more selective.
He was last time too. Remember, he was 3-1 and
right. Well, look at the damage they've done tonight. They've had all the opportunities with runners in scoring position. Much of that coming in the 1st inning and the 2nd. Ooh.
Looks like the Indians bullpen is about to spring into action.
Yeah, when you get into trouble this many times early in a game, sooner or later your ticket's going to be punched.
Masterson trying to keep the Indians in it as Rich Hill begins to loosen in the Tribe bullpen. Left-handers getting ready.
Well, he's invisible, but he's out there.
Chop foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carp at third, Victorino at second, Pedroia at first. If ever he needed a 2-for-1 ball, it was right here. 80 pitches on the night for Justin. Napoli pops it back out of play, and the count stays at 2-2. I mean, the Red Sox have out hit the Indians 10-2 tonight. I mean, it should be a blowout already, but it's not.
I know. And right there with that pitch, last pitch, a good slider away, and he's able to get a piece of it. They got to be looking middle of the way, pound him in here. Try and force him in and get a ground ball, because if he fouled off a nasty pitch away, he's got to be looking out there.
Yep. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Oh, a filthy slider from Justin Masterson, and that is out number 2, his 3rd strikeout of the night.
But he went back out there, and I'll tell you what, he makes an excellent pitch. He's going to start him out with the slider and miss. And then another slider, 2-0, hitters count. Oh, he had a great pitch to do some damage. He fouled off 2 in a row. He fouled off a good slider there. This one was down. This one had some bite to it, had some good tilt going down, and he gets the strikeout. So now a chance to again get out of the inning.
Daniel Nava back out of play. Nava an RBI single in the first. He flied out with the bases loaded to end the second inning.
I'll tell you one thing. These Boston hitters look awfully comfortable in the batter's box. They are swinging. Even the balls they fall off, they're taking good, healthy cuts.
Hit on the ground to first. Reynolds scoops it up, takes it to the bag. And another job done well by Justin Masterson getting out of a bases loaded mess. It remains 3-0 Boston. The Red Sox on top 3-0. Santana, Swisher, and Giambi coming up for the Indians. Justin Masterson has truly bobbed and weaved his way through the first 4 frames. But Alfredo Aceves has not given the Indians anything. They have 2 hits. He's walked 1, struck out a pair.
Yeah, and one of those hits was thrown out at second base, so he didn't even stay on.
Yeah.
He's only been out of the stretch 1 time. Well, then he followed up with a walk.
Red Sox with their 3-man shift, they take the third baseman Middlebrooks and throw him over on the right side of the infield near where the second baseman would normally play. They keep Drew, the shortstop, on the left side. 1-1 the count on Carlos Santana, who struck out his first time up. Santana was going to try to bunt and beat that shift.
Yeah, he looked like he was just going to throw one down. We've seen him do it before, where he will take a base hit. You just have to bunt it hard enough to get it past the pitcher. If you do that, it's a gimme single, and not a bad idea to get the leadoff man aboard.
Taking just a bit outside, 3-1. Santana, then Nick Swisher to follow here in the 4th for the Indians. This dormant offense trying to get itself going again. They were rolling last Saturday against Chicago, but then shut down Sunday by Jake Peavy. Shut down effectively last night, and so far again here this evening.
Well, even in Friday's game, it was a 1-0 game, and they never scored till the 9th inning.
Big chopper fair stayed fair as it went over the bag, and that's out number 1.
Well, you may want to come out. The last game of this Red Sox series will be tomorrow night. So come on out, and then the Tribe will be on the road for 10 games. And a reminder that 12-ounce beers are $4, hot dogs $3 for every home game this year.
So Nick Swisher, who singled to right field his first time up, steps in. He had the leadoff hit in the 2nd inning. Curveball looked like it missed high. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Swisher thought he had a hanger but couldn't square it up. 1-2. Alfredo Aceves delivers outside. 2-2. He's about as deliberate a pitcher as you'll see. Really takes his time.
Well, normally not a starting pitcher. So, you know, he goes out there and he has to, I think, stay focused, throw as many strikes as possible. Try and go as deep as he can, you know, even though in the bullpen he may be a long man. But with him going into the rotation, the Red Sox did call up Stephen Wright, a guy that was in the Indians organization who was their long man now, I would have guessed, the knuckleballer.
Yeah. The payoff pitch. Swisher lifts one in the air to left. 2 down. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. What if the Indians signed Shane Victorino? Whedon says he's ready for the quarterback competition. And Sam Amico on Byron Scott's future in Cleveland. Complete coverage, all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. 2 down for Jason Giambi. He popped up sky high on the infield his first time up. In fact, I think all 5 of his outs have been exactly the same.
Up there?
Straight up. I mean, just the old home run on an elevator shaft.
Well, you're talking about a fine line of squaring that ball up and becoming a line drive as compared to hitting it straight in the air. And, you know, he missed time,
Yep.
you know, coming out of spring training. So it's going to take a few at-bats, and we've been seeing a lot of left-handers. And, again, we'll see another left-hander tomorrow, so he can't get some consecutive at-bats going, and that's what you need to do.
Giambi sends one in the air to center field. Ellsbury will make the catch, and the Indians again are retired 1-2-3 through 4, 3-0 Boston. from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/free your TV. Rethink possible. By your local Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Panini's, with 19 locations in Northeast Ohio. All right, here we go in the 5th inning. Boston with a 3-0 lead, and Will Middlebrooks 0 for 2 on the night. Justin Masterson working now into the 5th inning. 3 out of his first 4 innings over 20 pitches. He went through that 3rd inning, 10 pitches. 1, 2, 3, bing, bang, boom. But they've had the bases loaded in every other inning tonight. That is a tough way to go about business. But I give him credit because he's trying to gut it out. And he strikes out Middlebrooks, his 4th K of the night, 1 down. Game recap brought to you by your Toyota dealers. And Mike Napoli with a base hit in the 1st inning with the bases drunk, made it 2-0. Then Daniel Nava followed with an RBI single. And that's it. It's all the scoring we've had. Red Sox have left 8 men on base in the game.
Yeah, when you talk about situational hitting, if they can keep it right here, it's kept them in the ball game. You know, if Masterson can give you 5 here, it'd be outstanding the way he's had to battle his way through it.
Cabrera on the big hop takes care of Saltalamacchia, 2 down. I don't want to go overboard, but this is the kind of game to me where Justin Masterson really shows you something as that number 1 pitcher in your rotation. Because this is a night where they had his number early. And you wouldn't be, the way this game started out, you would not have been surprised if you stopped watching the game. If you turned it off 6 batters into the game and you flipped it back on, you wouldn't be surprised if it was 8-0. Well, and yet he's held it at 3. It
could be a lot more than 8. And I'll tell you what, if he can get through this inning and possibly give 1 more, and you look up at the end of the night and say 5-6 innings, and keep it at 3, then you're really dealing.
Yeah.
And that's what you do when you don't have your good stuff, or they ambush you early like they did to him here and get 3 in the 1st.
And especially when your offense isn't on track right now.
Well, he's used to it. I mean, how many times did he pitch?
Unfortunately, you're right.
You know, think about it. The last couple of years, they couldn't score. He's pitched like that for a long time.
Well, that was the case 2 years ago when he got off to the great start.
Yeah, in 11.
He was 6-0. He pitched through all of June and July and still pitched well. Had great numbers. They just never scored for him. And he went a long time without a win. 3-1 delivery. And that is ball 4. So a 2-out walk keeps the inning alive for Mike Karp.
Well, the next of 15 Sugardale Dollar Dog Nights will take place Friday, May 3rd. It'll be a 7 o'clock start. The Twins will be in town, so get your tickets. Log on to Indians.com.
Karp has hurt Masterson tonight with 2 doubles, but he hasn't been able to score because he's let off both times with those doubles. Doubled inside the bag at 3rd to start the 2nd, was stranded at 3rd. Doubled to deep center in the 4th to lead off that inning, and again was stranded at 3rd base. Another ball to deep center. Again, Stubbs turn around, dead sprint, high off the fence. That's going to score Drew. On his way to 3rd is Mike Karp. So 2 doubles and now a triple, and now Boston adds to their lead, and it's a 4-0 ball game.
This kid has smoked the ball tonight. They come back with 2 out, and this one straight away center field. It fooled Stubbs again. This one went off the wall halfway up in center field. I mean, he hammered this ball. He wasn't going to catch this one either. You see how high it went up over his head.
Halfway up, that almost went out. Look how close that comes, just below the yellow line.
I mean, that was a dead line drive.
Jacoby Ellsbury Looks at a ball outside. You know, you focus so much in this game on the pitch count, and here's a night where Masterson is closing in on 100 pitches, but other than the one inning, every pitch he's made has been in a tough spot just about, because he's had base runners, bases loaded 3 out of the first 4 innings. So he's had a high stress situation almost every inning tonight. And he may simply have run out of gas. Missed inside, 2-1. And when a guy runs out of gas, Rick, it's not necessarily that he can't still throw it hard, but all of a sudden he can't throw it where he wants to. I mean, the location starts to go.
They got to try and really slow him down here. Now Callaway's going out. I thought, I know Hill was up last inning. Now I see a right-hander up, so I guess Hill sat down. But, you know, he had the first 2 outs. He walks Drew, and then Carp just nailed him again for his 3rd straight hit. 2 doubles and then the triple. And there's Corey Kluber getting loose.
Jacoby Ellsbury, a couple of hits on the night, will be the batter. First pitch breaking ball in for it. Actually, not first pitch, but since the meeting, the first pitch is the one you focus on after that pitching coach goes out. A lot of times guys are sitting on a fastball. He goes to the off-speed pitch to even the count. And he strikes him out. So Masterson gets out of the inning with his 5th strikeout, but the Red Sox add to their lead 4-0. Mark Reynolds leading off. Pops one sky high. And Carp and foul ground has it 1 away. Justin Masterson and Terry Francona. Tell you what, Justin, he was one batter away from really walking away from this game tonight saying, all right, I struggled, but I kept my team in it. And it's not that he still hasn't.
Right.
But, boy, that last run is probably going to gnaw at him a little bit.
Well, it might, but he did everything in his power. They jumped on him early for 3, and they hit him all over the ballpark, his former team. He has had success against them, but they did a really good job. They were aggressive on him early, and he did everything in his power. Believe me, it's a 4-0 game. It could be 8-0.
No doubt about it.
I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. When you're out there and the way the Indians have started the season, when you're looking at their rotation, if he doesn't do it, you don't expect anybody else to do it. So you're thinking, my goodness, he's got to be perfect.
Yeah, and
you
that's
can't
not
pitch
realistic.
like that.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what makes him, I think, he's let down because he feels he let his team down. But you still have to score. The Indians have 2 hits.
Right back to the mound. Cord Phelps is out number 2. In a lot of ways, he's like it's like a football game where your defense is giving up a ton of yards, but you're holding the other guy to field goals.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Justin did tonight. He's kept his team in it. It just, as you said, Rick, the offense, they are just absolutely in a deep freeze right now.
Yeah, need help. You can't pitch us out. His last game, he won 1-0, and it took to the 9th inning. So, you can't go out there and be perfect every time. You need a little help.
7 in a row set down by Aceves. Lonnie Chisenhall had a base hit in the 3rd, tried to stretch it to a double. That was leading off the inning, and he was thrown out by Shane Victorino at second base. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball called a strike. The 1-2 pitch. A little bit outside. We learned something new about the catchers with those colorful nails. We thought that they were either putting white out or using fingernail paint. Those are actually stick-ons.
Yes, they are. They're stick-ons, right. I talked to the rep that comes in and hands them out, and he gave me some up here to to show me.
Now, we're not talking about Lee press-on nails.
No,
These
not
are just
nails. These
stickers.
are just, they make your nails glow, and they come in 3 different colors. They have white, they have the green, and they have the orange, the bright fluorescent.
Yeah.
So the pitchers can see them at night, and it's very easy. We can see it right there, and they just peel them off.
There's a base hit in the hole by Lonnie Chisenhall between 3rd and short, and a 2-out base runner for the Indians here in the 5th inning. Here's the answer to the AT&T trivia question. The youngest Indians player with 40 homers in back-to-back seasons.
Wasn't Rocky, was it? Rocky, baby. Don't knock the Rock.
Today is the anniversary of that ill-fated trade.
Oh, is that
Rocky
right?
Colavito to the Tigers for Harvey Keene. Drew Stubbs will walk his first time up. Two quick strikes, and that's that's what we've seen from Aceves all night. He's been a guy who has targeted corners and kept it down.
Looks like he starts you off first pitch cutter, and he throws it for a strike. He changes speeds, and he goes in and out. He moves it well. He's done a nice job tonight. For a guy making his second start, we told you his first start came against Baltimore back on the 11th, where he went 5 innings, 6 hits, and allowed only 2 runs. He did walk 3 and struck out 4. Had a no decision. But tonight, he's 1 out away from going 5 again, and only 3 hits and so far no runs. And has made it look easy.
Upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes for Stubbs. Now he wants another ball. My goodness. The 2-2. Stubbs shoots it back out of play. Guy give Rafael Betancourt a run for his money.
You think?
2-2. Ripped to left field, a base hit, and maybe extras. Nava chases it to the wall. Chisenhall into third. He'll stop there. The Indians break that extra base hit drought with a 2-out double by Drew Stubbs here in the 5th inning. They had gone 21 innings without an extra base hit, but Stubbs puts a charge into one here.
One of the pitches that Aceves leaves upstairs, and Stubbs jumped all over it. But, you know, with that short porch out there and left, there's not much you can do with 2 outs. Even if Chisenhall was off and running, he couldn't score on the play. So they get to second and third. Now it's going to take another base hit to get him on the board. With 2 outs, that would be a big hit. That's where the Indians have struggled.
And Michael Brantley 0 for 2 on the night will be the batter.
Last couple games, 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, 2 for 20, 2-out hitting.
And it's ball 1, up and away. Brantley lined out to right field his first time up. Bounced to short, back in the third. John Farrell's club has been in command from the outset here tonight, but the Indians threatening to get on the board for the first time now here in the 5th. That goes foul.
Ties him up. You see that little cutter staying inside. Not giving Michael a lot of swinging room. And he hasn't given many people much swinging room tonight.
Missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. Chisenhall's at third, Stubbs at second. Outfield shading Brantley a little bit toward left. Two 2-1. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. As Drupal Cabrera would be next if Brantley can keep the inning alive. The Indians could use a rally or a sustained offensive outburst here. Aceves with the 3-1 to Brantley. Ball 4 and the bases are loaded. And that's going to bring a visit from Boston's pitching coach. Juan Nieves will go out and talk with Aceves. As Dribble Cabrera will be the batter. He's 0 for 2 on the night, 1 for 6 in the series. And you mentioned last night in his last at bat, Cabrera made the out and he just flipped the bat. You could tell body language, the frustration was just at a boiling point.
No question. He felt he had a pitch he could hit. He flipped that bat up, and you could just see the frustration. Everything he's trying, you can tell. He's off to a slow start. He's not getting hits. When he does hit the ball hard, they catch it. He's going to have to battle his way through it because right now, he has to step up. And
now they could use a big hit from him in this situation.
He's been he's rolling over on everything, trying to pull too much. Cabrera, man, he likes it. When he's swinging the bat well, he uses the whole field. Not to get too aggressive. He's very quick inside, and sometimes hitters, you just try and get more than they're giving you, and you roll over on it trying to pull the ball. It's easier to say he's got to relax, take a deep breath, and just hit the ball where it's pitched.
Well, when he's going well, that's what he does so good. And he makes it look so easy. He'll take the pitch away and just serve it to the other field. He'll turn on a ball and smash it by
when
somebody.
You're going well. Right now he is not going well, but, a base hit could get the Indians on the board and get this crowd into it.
And he smashes that off of his front leg.
Cutter in, and it was probably a ball. But there again, I'm talking about the aggressiveness. Let's see the location of this pitch and see. It looks like it tied him up inside. That wasn't a good one to hit.
That was above that shin guard, by the way.
Yeah, I see it's inside. That's a ball. It looked like it went off his knee. Going to have to hit with one of Santana's
get the full shin guard.
Yeah, the full one. Use the whole one. That's only a half a one.
Cabrera says he's all right. Bases loaded, 2 down in the 5th. Good speed on the bags for the Tribe. Aceves. Just that blank stare. And Cabrera backs away. I feel bad for Tim Timmons because Aceves takes so long to decide on a sign that you can't help but give the hitter timeout for stepping away. That's a strike, and now he gets ahead 0-2.
And you come right back inside with a changeup or something off speed to lock you in. So now it's going to be a battle for Cabrera.
The 0-2. Gets away, but not far enough. Chisenhall had a great read on it, and he saw that Saltalamacchia was going to be able to get to it quickly, so he held his ground.
Yeah, it's a good thing he did, too, because it did not trickle away that far. It hit his shin guard. It saved him.
Yep.
It went off the end of his glove. It looked like he got a little lazy with it, but he got help from his own shin guard. And it hit squarely enough where it didn't deflect all the way back to the screen, so Chisenhall had to hold up.
Here's the 1-2. Cabrera with a long fly ball, deep right field. Victorino back, makes the running catch. And another moment of frustration as Cabrera spikes his batting helmet just shy of first base going down the line. Victorino over the head catch. Tribe leaves them loaded here in the 5th. As we go now to the 6th inning. And today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Corey Kluber just called up from AAA Columbus as the Indians put Michael Bourne on the disabled list.
See his numbers down at Columbus, where he made a couple of starts. Kluber had an impact here last year, getting called up to the big leagues and getting some starts in the second half. A 4-pitch mix guy. And, you know, we knew when you leave spring training that you're going to see, when we were talking about the starters, you're going to see 8 different guys at some point in time, and you're going to need all of them. And here it is, mid-April, and Corey Kluber's coming in, although it's out of the bullpen in relief of Justin Masterson. And his first tough outing of the year, where he went 5 innings. He gave up 11 hits and 4 runs, and he bobbed and weaved all night long.
Well, it'll be Shane Victorino, Dustin Pedroia, Mike Napoli for Boston here in the 6th.
Left-handers had 8 of the 11 hits off of Masterson today.
Victorino, switch hitter, was hit by a pitch in that first inning. And then he singled in his next 2 trips up. Right back up the middle, and it's through. And he is 3 for 3 here tonight. Here's our great clip of the game from last night. Indians bullpen pressed into action in the 2nd inning. And boy, Cody Allen with a career high 3 innings of terrific work.
6 punch outs for Allen, also a career high.
Great clips. It's going to be great. Dustin Pedroia, a couple of hits, a run scored on the night. Taking a strike. Fouled right back. Mentioned Atlanta had their 10-game win streak snapped earlier today. They're 12-2. The other 12-win team in baseball is in Oakland, California, as the A's beat Houston. They're 12-4 to lead the AL West.
Oh, man, duck. That got Carey right in the nose.
Tigers are in Oakland coming up in a little while. I should say the Tigers are in Seattle, and they are trying to win their 4th straight. Detroit 8-5 to start the year. Swing and a miss, and Kluber strikes out Dustin Pedroia, 1 away. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al.
Matt, Rays and O's tonight in Baltimore. 2-2 game in the top half of the 4th inning. James Loney, a base hit to center field, misplayed by Adam Jones. It goes as a double, 2-run score. Rays add another in the 6th. They now lead at 5-2 at Camden Yards. Matt, back to you.
Tampa trying to stop a 4-game losing streak.
They've been having a tough time scoring, so you can't give them any breaks, as we witnessed. You give them an opportunity, they take advantage of it. But they have offensively been struggling.
Well, you know, we talk about it all the time in our division. You have to win in your division. Tampa's lost 6 out of 7 in the division in the AL East.
Yeah, and they have scored going into today the least amount of runs, 39 going into today's game.
That's three runs a game.
Yeah.
That's not going to get it done.
Yeah, their pitching's good, but it's not that good.
The 0-2. Crushed left field. Brantley back over his head. Short hops the wall. Into third is Victorino. Into second goes Napoli. Just does beat the tag of Cord Phelps. So a double for Napoli. His third double in the series.
Well, again, here's a guy that's had a good night hitting in counts, and then he goes down and in with a breaking ball, 2-0 count. Now, I don't like the selection there. Most hitters will sit middle in on a 2-0 count, whether it's a breaking ball or a fastball. They can make that adjustment, but they cut the plate in half. So he smokes and gets his 7th double this year. And again, the Red Sox with a scoring opportunity, the Indians bringing their infield in.
Daniel Nava has 1 hit on the night, 1 hit in the series, but that hit back in the first drove in a run. And this one will bring in potentially 2. Victorino scores. Here comes Napoli, and now the stop sign put on late. He goes back to the bag. And it's 5-0 Boston. Nava with his 2nd RBI of the game. So Corey Kluber has allowed 3 hits to the first 4 batters he's faced.
Yeah. Ball elevated. He turns on. They've been really aggressive tonight. So Nava gets his 2nd RBI. In comes Victorino. It's now 5-0.
Will Middlebrooks is 0 for 3 on the night. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down. They got him. Daniel Nava punched out by Mark Wegner on a nice throw by Carlos Santana. 2 down.
Well, they come right out, look him back, and throw through. And there's a good throw by Santana. Phelps applies a tag. You see that foot right in front of the base. Nava thrown out. That's going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it.
High pop, right field should get him out of the inning now. Swisher settles under it and makes the grab. But Boston tacks on another run. Middle of the 6th, 5-0 Red Sox. Last call. He'll take your calls and emails, get you updated on what's going on. Chuck's last call after Indians Live tonight on Sports Time Ohio. Well, the Indians offense, we told you, has been struggling, and Shane Victorino has played a hand in keeping them off the board a couple of times. A nice running catch in deep right last night, and again here this evening.
Well, there you see a former center fielder that can go get him over in right field as well, and there's the frustration coming out of Asdrubal, but he can go get him. Good arm. He also threw out Chisenhall at second base, trying to stretch a single into a double. Did you see the umpire turn around?
He doesn't know what to do.
Kill the music, will you please, he's saying.
Between guys stepping in, stepping off, stepping out. How about Santana? What was that? He was walking to the front of the box.
That was the Miguel Delaney swing and bunt. From the Dominican, he was going to bring it out of the batter's box. He's going to walk up to home plate and swing. Watch. 1, 2, let's go. He was going to hit it down the third baseline. Miguel Delaney did that.
He was going to go for the old beat the ship play, huh? Pitch outside. Swung on and missed. It's 2-1. Two and 1 to count. 3 on the shift right side for the Red Sox. And now Aceves fires. 2-2. Well, Santana, and you never want to see a guy who's swinging the bat well, as hot as he was, have to miss time. But since he missed those couple of games, he has been cold since he's come back. 0 for 6
anytime
in this series.
You're in a groove and you miss time, something happens. There's a comebacker that stayed in off the plate. Excellent pitch. He didn't get the call.
Goes away and misses, and a walk to Santana. So the Indians get their leadoff man aboard here in the 6th inning.
Season tickets assure you the best seats at the lowest prices, and only season ticket holders get Tribe Rewards. Matter of fact, I saw a Tribe Reward person throwing out the first pitch tonight. So check it out. Opportunities for full and partial season ticket plans on sale now. Call Indians.com.
Nick Swisher, 1 out of 2, a base hit in the 2nd inning, flied out to left in the 4th. We want to say congratulations to Sports Time Ohio's Mike Bachman, outstanding producer of Indians Live. He and his wife Sarah welcomed Kelsey Rose Bachman into the world at 4:29 p.m. this afternoon. 8 pounds, 15 ounces.
Like they say, you ain't seen nothing yet.
The 1-0.
Attaboy, Michael.
Popped foul.
And Sarah.
Out of play. Santana at first to lead off the home half of the 6th. Tribe down 5-0. Nick Swisher drives one to deep center. Back is Ellsbury on the track at the wall. He's out of room. It's out of here. Nick Swisher's second home run as an Indian gets the Tribe on the board here in the 6th inning. Cutting into Boston's lead, it's now 5-2.
Well, he juiced that one. His second home run, and he gave it a ride into the Indians' bullpen. No doubt about this one. They want it away. Look at it. It's right down Broadway. Swisher knew it. I think everybody out there knew it. Goes a long way, and the Indians are on the board. They had a 5-2 ball game. Swisher with his 5th and 6th RBI.
Well, let's see if that wakes up the Indians' bats. Here's Jason Giambi 0 for 2 tonight. Flied to fairly deep center his last time up. Takes outside ball 1. Red Sox bullpen is busy. They got a couple of guys up. Aceves closing in on 100 pitches for the night. And it's 2-0 now on Giambi. Called a strike, and Giambi said, "What, are you kidding me?" That was the worst looking pitch of the 3 he's thrown.
Well, he had his say. He'll get back in. You know, he didn't get a call on a 2-2 pitch to Santana. He gets one there.
Pulled the string on him, 2-2. Andrew Miller from the left side. Tazawa, a right-hander. Both getting heated up in a hurry as Aceves has hit the 100 pitch mark. And Giambi shoots it back foul. Here's the 2-2 now. Giambi drives one deep right. This baby is gone to Souvenir City. Jason Giambi's first home run as an Indian. Back-to-back blast for the Indians here in the 6th. And they're right back in it now, down 5-3.
Well, Jason with his first hit, and boy, that was a bomb. He tried to come inside and watch him pull those hands in, and this one was smoked. That feels good. Look at it. Back to back. Up comes Swisher. The smile is out, and the Tribe is back into this ball game because this is going to do it for Aceves. Watch him pull his hands in, Matt, and just smoke this ball. And he's hit plenty of them. He knows. Look at that swing. Head down, hands in. It is a 5-3 ball game.
Fat part of the bat meet the baseball and explodes out of here. Career homer number 430 for Giambi.
Oh, I thought he's still in there. Johnny left him in.
No, I don't think that was Farrell that went out. Yeah.
Okay.
So Aceves staying in. And another Indians big bopper coming up, Mark Reynolds, who leads the team with 5 home runs. Reynolds 0 for 2 tonight. Floats one over the outside corner for a strike to get ahead. Jason Giambi still has a lot to offer to this Indians ball club, both on and off the field. Mark Reynolds now down on the count, 0-2. First three have all scored for the Indians here in the sixth. Nobody out. Fastball, popped up foul, out of play. With more on Jason Giambi and the influence he's had on that Tribe clubhouse, here's Katie.
Well, Matt, Jason Giambi is the guy on the bench always talking baseball. He's analyzing, breaking down situations with all the guys. And Brad Mills told me he's the one guy that really bridges the gap between the coaches and the players. And their expectations of him this year are to go out and do exactly what he's done throughout his entire career, which I think is what we just saw.
Well, for players, and when she's talking about bridging it from the players to the coaches, the players listen to players. I mean, you know, coaches can go out there and tell them.
Fair ball over the bag. Down the line it goes. Reynolds on his way to second. He's looking for extra bases. Good, strong throw to the bag. Here's the slide. He is safe. Reynolds keeps the train rolling for the Tribe here in the sixth inning.
Boy, that was awfully close at second base. A good play by Nava. But, Reynolds kept going. He made the turn. He gets the foot in there and slides in safely. There's that ball that starts leaking inside, and Reynolds just pulls it over the bag at third. Now watch Nava make a nice play on this ball. Comes out to him, he turns, he throws, it's accurate. Reynolds gets his foot in there right before the tag. So 3 straight extra base hits. Now that'll do it. As John Farrell goes to the mound, and Aceves is now out of this ball game.
It's time for today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Alfredo Aceves, 5 innings of shutout baseball, but the Indians jump on him for 3 here in the sixth. We've got a timeout at Progressive Field. Back in the ball game now, scoring 3 times here in the sixth inning to cut it to 5-3. Tying run will be at the plate as Mark Reynolds is at second. Still nobody out in the inning. And the new pitcher for Boston is Junichi Tazawa, on for the 7th time this year.
Tazawa is throwing the ball very well in his 6 games, 6 innings. Has a couple of holds. The guy's got very good control. So, you may want to be aggressive off him early. So the right-hander's coming on to face Phelps. The first 4 have reached base for the Indians in this inning. So they've answered with a big inning, and they can continue to add on here with a runner on second base, still nobody out.
Swung out and missed by Cord Phelps, who is 0 for 2 on the night. The pitch. And a fastball in there for a strike. It's quickly 0-2. The 2-strike delivery up high, almost plunked him. And Cord Phelps had to duck in a hurry. I don't really think there was any intent there. He just missed badly.
No, he just overthrows the ball. You know, he started him off changeup, believe it or not, and he had Phelps out in front, and then he took the fastball right by him. So Phelps, was probably sitting on maybe another changeup, and that fastball comes high, and it goes right past his head.
Fastball hit on the ground to third. Middlebrooks slings it over, and Phelps is out number 1. Now the Indians got to work against Alfredo Aceves. Nick Swisher with a 2-run blast to the bullpen. Jason Giambi following with his first hit as an Indian with a home run. And Mark Reynolds pulls one over the bag at third for extra bases. There's Lonnie Chisenhall, 2 for 2 on the night. Couple of base hits for Lonnie. He slings it in there, 93 miles an hour for strike 1.
He slings it in there, and he throws a lot of strikes. Told you in his 6 innings, he hasn't walked anybody yet.
There's a drive deep center field. Ellsbury back onto the track, and he will make the catch. Tagging and going to third is Mark Reynolds. So Chisenhall just missed joining the home run derby party here in the 6th inning.
Well, that would have scored a run had you moved the runner over, but when you're down in the count like Phelps was, it's a tough job to do. He hit the ball hard, didn't get him over, so now you've got the runner at third base and 2 outs.
And the batter will be Drew Stubbs. You know, Rick, you were talking about Tazawa and how he gets it up there in a hurry. It's interesting to me that, Japanese players are obviously largely unknown here in the States. But here's a guy who was unknown in Japan. He went through 3 different drafts undrafted, where even the Japanese professional leagues really didn't know about him. But a product of pure scouting, a Boston Red Sox Pacific area scout found him.
Well, when you look at him, he doesn't look like your typical Japanese pitcher either. Where they have that hesitation or something. He comes right at you, and he got a nice 4-seam fastball. We'll go with a changeup. Haven't seen him a whole lot.
Stubbs takes a fastball, and that one in there at 95. It's 0-2.
He's thrown 8 pitches. 7 of them have been strikes. And, he's not been tricky. I think the first pitch he threw was a changeup, and that was it. The rest have been fastballs.
He's put out the fire to this point. 2 quick outs. Now the 0-2 to Stubbs. Reynolds down the line at third. Tazawa with the 1-2. And Stubbs strikes out. So the right-hander comes out of the Boston bullpen and douses the Flames. But the Indians get on the board with a couple of bombs. It's 5-3 now, favor of Boston. Panini's Bar and Grill. Well, the Indians back in the ball game thanks to the awakening bats of the Tribe. Clobbering their way back in it with a couple of home runs. Now Rich Hill coming on for the Tribe out of the bullpen. Taking over for Corey Kluber, who worked 1 inning and allowed a run on 3 hits.
Well, offensively now they're back in the ball game. So now that bullpen that did such a great job last night of throwing zeros on the board after a 7-run second has to try and do it again now. If they can get the offense right back into the dugout.
Jared Saltalamacchia, Stephen Drew, and Mike Karp due up for Boston here. Saltalamacchia 0 for 3. And Rich Hill fires a first pitch strike in there. John Krepop, longtime press box attendant here at the ballpark, going back to the old stadium as well. Went into the record books for this one. He tells us Jason Giambi is the 3rd oldest Indian to homer in a ball game.
And he's been here for every home run, too. That's how old Krepop is.
I think he was in junior high school when Sam Rice hit hit a home run at the age of 44 in 1934.
Yeah, he was a junior that year. He just started.
Yeah, Dave Winfield hit a home run here in this ballpark, 1995, at the age of 43. And Al Giambi, who is 42.
He is all over it. Good for Popper.
Saltalamacchia, towering drive, left center field. Stubbs racing back, makes the catch on the track on the dead sprint. And that is out number 1.
He just flat out outran that ball. It had a little air underneath it. He had a long way to go into left center field, and he just outruns it. Watch where he starts. He's straight away, and I mean straight away center field, and just the speed of Stubbs enables him to catch that ball. He gets it right on the track. Nice running catch.
I'd be willing to bet if you put Drew Stubbs in a group with some NFL wide receivers, he'd probably hold his own in terms of pure speed. Because when he can pick him up and put him down, man.
No, he's not like he's a tall guy too.
Yeah,
he's about 6'4",
yeah.
right?
Off the end of the bat, on the run, Swisher charging hard, makes the catch, tumbles over, and hangs on for out number 2. So the Indians outfield flashing some leather here in the 7th. Back-to-back terrific plays by Stubbs and now Swisher.
Well, the ball Stubbs caught, that ball was hammered. This one was off the end of the bat and maybe fooled you a little bit more as an outfielder. But, you know, for Swisher, who's been playing first base an awful lot, he goes out to right field and makes a nice running catch. So 2 up, 2 down. We're going to get
assuming a pinch hitter here, it's going to be Johnny Gomes for Mike Karp.
Well, Karp has had some kind of night.
Yeah, Karp. 2 doubles, a triple, and RBI. But with the lefty-lefty matchup here, John Farrell decides to go to the right-handed bat of Johnny Gomes. Let's hit Al Pulowski for an update back in the Hyundai Studios.
All right, Matt, let's go to New York. Arizona was up in this game 3-0 tied, 3-all, bottom of the 8th. Travis Hafner pinch hitting. That's gone. His 4th homer of the year. It's the game winner. 4-3 is the final now. The Yankees victorious over the Diamondbacks.
All right, thanks, Al. So Johnny Gomes getting a chance to hit here. Gomes 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. And you saw his numbers overall 4 for 20 on the season. With 2 down, he takes a strike.
Gomes, a guy that over his career has liked hitting against left-handed pitching, has done a nice job against them.
Swung on and missed. And the count quickly 0-2 as Rich Hill changing speeds nicely on Gomes. Gomes taking and a tad too far inside. You could see Santana, though, he wanted that ball down.
That tantalizing curveball. He started it up high. It's only 73, so it's got a lot of break to it.
Froze him. I mean, froze him. And Rich Hill, a terrific 1-2-3, 7th inning. 5-3 Boston our score. And it's time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. changes now. Daniel Nava goes to first base. Jackie Bradley Jr. into the ball game, takes over for Nava in left. And Junichi Tazawa, who got 3 out in the 6th inning, and the only 3 he faced, stays on here in the 7th. And Michael Brantley looks at a ball up high. Brantley 0 for 2 with a walk back in the 5th inning. And a strike is called. Big overhand curveball. He breaks that out.
Yeah, that's the first pitch we've seen like that tonight. That slows everything down and takes you off the fastball, the old equalizer. 73 miles an hour. Nice break, nice bite to it.
Down on the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
For the Red Sox, their closer, Joel Hanrahan, is on the DL. Was placed there, so Andrew Bailey is their closer now. If this score should hold.
Yeah, Hanrahan, interesting in love. You think about guys, pitchers, closers going on the DL, usually some kind of an arm ailment. It's a hamstring problem he's dealing with. 2-2. Low and a full count. Brantley showing that good eye and patience at the plate. Asdrubal Cabrera waiting on deck. And he takes care of him. Second strikeout for Tazawa, 1 down. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan. Rum. Raise a glass, always in moderation. Back in 2007, the Red Sox Pacific Rim scouting coordinator, John Diebel, went to Taiwan for an international tournament to see Tazawa pitch. He only pitched 2 innings in that game. But he felt like it was well worth it to see him pitch in that game. But here's the best part. Diebel says the tournament was up in the mountains in a little country town. He said it was freezing cold. Gets to the stadium. He pitches the 2 innings. Now he said, I'm thinking to myself, how do I get out of here? There are no taxis. There's no cars. Nothing. So he walked 4 miles through the freezing cold rain, back down, found a little convenience store where they called him a cab so he could get back to wherever he had started his journey from. But you and I have been around. We know the life that the scouts go through.
Yeah.
People have
2 innings. To see this guy go all the way to Pacific Rim for 2 innings?
Well, I mean, he's out. That's his area. Yeah. But still.
That's a big area.
It is a big area.
2 innings, well, you would think it would be hard to convince that team to sign him after seeing him for 2 innings.
Well,
and saying, he's.
Well, I'm sure they ended up
selling.
I'm sure they saw him more after that, but I think that was one of those deals where, hey, this guy's legit. He just wasn't on anybody's radar. By September of 2008, when he announced, hey, I'm not going to go in the Japanese draft, I want to go sign to play in the big leagues in the United States. By that time, the Braves, the Mariners, the Rangers, they were all in on him. But the Red Sox won him over because strike 3 called Daisuke Matsuzaka. They had signed Daisuke, and this kid was a fan of Daisuke and said, I want to go pitch for the team that signed Daisuke originally.
Well, that makes sense. There's a fastball on the inside edge. Locked up Cabrera. Good pitch.
Daisuke Matsuzaka, meanwhile, is still trying to put it together in the Indians minor league system right now, pitching at AAA Columbus. Mixed results. Still not there yet. But I think the Indians are hopeful that maybe he can get it back together and be a factor at some point this season. But we'll have to wait and see.
Does that mean Tazawa may want to come to Cleveland?
Who knows, right? Right now, I'd like to see him anywhere but here because he has struck out 3 straight Indians hitters. And he's looking pretty nasty.
He's done a nice job. He's pounding the strike zone. 14 of his 21 pitches in there for strikes.
A 5-3 Boston lead. A little bit low. There's Joe Smith getting loose in the tribe pin. Two balls and a strike. I mean, Boston starters have been very good. We talked a lot about that, but their bullpen's no slouch. I mean, they came in leading the league with a 2.09 ERA. That's the whole pitching staff combined. So
yeah, they've done it on the pitching side of the baseball, no question.
The starters have been better overall statistically than the relievers, but it's been a very well orchestrated team effort for John Farrell's bunch so far. Off the end of the bat, but foul. If that had stayed fair, he might have had a double with that shift on. White Sox blank Toronto up at the Rogers Center tonight, 7-0. So Toronto drops to 6-9, and the White Sox are 7-8. Pitch number 25 for Tazawa, 16 so far for strikes. The 2-2. And he strikes out 4 straight Indians hitters. 7 in the books, 5-3 Boston.
Authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
(5-3) Boston as we move to the 8th inning. Top of the order coming up for the Red Sox. The Indians down 3 in the first, down 5 going into the bottom of the 6th. Before the offense awakened, Nick Swisher with a 2-run shot, Jason Giambi a solo homer. Now we'll see if they can hold off the Red Sox and get those bats going again in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, Hill will probably be on to face Ellsbury and maybe Victorino. And then he has right-hander in the bullpen probably for Pedroia and Napoli if the Napoli reaches.
Almost hit him. Ellsbury just did get out of the way.
Well, as a left-hander, you're going to take one maybe, and you go ahead and fake that bump. But when you see it starting at your rib cage, you sort of get out of the way because Hill is a guy that, you know, it's a sidearm delivery. Not an easy one to pick up.
Chopped it foul. Good breaking ball. Another Red Sox hitter frozen by Rich Hill. Ellsbury didn't like the call. He was beefing with the home plate umpire, Tim Timmons.
I think he's trying to say that pitch comes in and it breaks around the plate.
Wouldn't chase. Gomes was frozen by a called third strike to end the 7th inning. Now the 2-2 coming to Ellsbury. Pulls it foul. Up into the seats, it bounces around, and the loose ball is fought for, and we got a winner. Popped him up, foul again, out of play. Ellsbury, then Shane Victorino, followed by Dustin Pedroia here in the 8th for Boston. Joe Smith up in that tribe pin. But with the left-handed hitting Ellsbury leading off, Terry Francona staying with the southpaw Hill here. Outside, full count. Three-two. Popped in the air. Shallow left. Long run for Cabrera. Bobbled it. Can't come up with it. And Ellsbury, big turn at first, will hold there. So it'll be a base hit for Ellsbury on a ball that Cabrera got to, but could not bring it in.
No, he got. Usually that ball pops straight up, but it goes behind him. Watch, he gets it in the glove, kicks it up, and it goes behind his head, and he tries to backhand it that way. Sometimes if it hits the glove, it'll go up, and he might have had a chance going out, running out toward the outfield, but didn't work that time.
Rich Hill's night is over. Joe Smith is coming on when we come back. Indians going to the bullpen. Shane Victorino coming up. Joe Smith will be in now for the Indians. And for Joe Smith, this is his 5th appearance. No wins or losses. Does have a save in 4 innings of work. He has struck out 4, has not walked a batter. So, Ellsbury, you have to give him credit. He just threw the bat at it, just tried to put it in play, and he blooped it in.
That's right, he did. He was down in the count.
Oh, boy. To the backstop it goes, and now easily into scoring position is Ellsbury. And now we'll see if Victorino decides to just bunt him over to third.
Well, here's a guy that can do whatever you want. He could bunt him over. He's been around. He was looking like he was going to bunt him to second base, so they give him second base. I mean, with a 2-run lead, this is a guy that's a veteran. However he feels he can get the guy to third base, he will do it, whether it's a bunt or he'll pull the ball if need be. And you see he's waiting for a strike.
It's 2-0. He's already had a good night, swinging the bat 3 for 3, 3 singles, 2 runs scored. He's showing bunt. He lays it down perfectly. Smith's only play at first. And it gets by Cord Phelps. A run scores, and it's now 6-3 Boston.
Well, he does his job. He thinks he's out. He's safe. Where's he going? He's got to get back out there. Phelps couldn't hold on to the ball. The throw might have been into the runner a little bit from Smitty. Let's take a look. He lays down a beautiful bunt. The only play is first base. There's a good angle. There's the throw up the line. You know, Phelps would have had to go over. There might have been a little collision. You see, he throws it. It's a wide throw. You have to give him a sacrifice at least to get him to third base. We'll see how they score it. And it may be an error on Smitty for the throw that allows the run to come in and score. We'll see how they score it.
And it will be an error charged to Joe Smith. (6-3) now, Boston. Dustin Pedroia at the plate. And that's hit foul out of play to the right. Joe Smith hasn't pitched in 4 days. So maybe a little rust for the right-hander here. Wild pitch, an error on the throw to first. However you slice it, it's added up to a big run for Boston after the Indians had cut the lead to 2. Smashed foul by Pedroia. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the 2-2. Got him looking. Pedroia back to the dugout, 1 away. No, we talked about it with the rainouts and with what's going on here. It's been tough to get that bullpen a lot of consistent work. Katie, how are those guys holding up down there?
Well, Matt, I spoke with Vinny Pistano earlier, and he told me everyone out there kind of handles not pitching differently. For him, it's been 10 days. You know, he's thrown once in the last 10 days, I should say. So the key really is staying ready, focused, and trusting your stuff. His routine is he doesn't change anything. Basically, when he gets the call, he gets up and gets ready. For a guy like Joe Smith, though, he told me he gets up and he throws off the mound every couple of days But for a guy like Chris Perez, he goes 3 or 4 days and he gets up there and gets off the mound. So, I mean, they're handling it as best as possible right now.
Yeah, and everybody, as you said, is different. Everybody's got their own routine, and that's something you have to learn, Rick, as
whatever it takes
as a professional, how to keep yourself sharp and ready to go, because you never know when the call might come, and it may come 3 days in a row, and then you might go 6 days without pitching.
And that's what happened earlier. Remember, they all needed days off earlier in the year because offensively they were taking leads late in the game, and they were pitching 2 or 3 straight days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're on the other end of the spectrum where you're not getting any work in, so you've got to find a way to try and stay sharp. But it's a really fine line of staying sharp because you're not getting game action. You do what you feel will keep you ready to come into a ball game.
Swung out and missed, threw it by him. It's 2-2.
You know, everybody's on their own routine, and a lot of times you won't see Smith in a game when they're losing. You know, he's that 7th inning guy when they're winning. So it's a little different environment when you're out there.
Well, and you know, partly because Terry wants to get these guys some work, and partly because last night you blew through a lot of those guys.
The guys, that had to hold it in. And you're right. Allen, Hagedorn, Hill came in again tonight. Shaw pitched.
Yeah.
So now it's Smith. You got to see Pistano, even though they're down a few runs.
Three-two pitch. Hit the first. Reynolds to second. There's one. Cabrera's return throw. Dug out nicely
nice
by Mark on the other end. Terrific job all the way around by Reynolds. The Indians turn 2 to end the inning. But a gift run for the Red Sox, and now they're up 6-3. Eighth inning. And Koji Uehara now on for the Red Sox. His 7th appearance of the year. He'll be facing Nick Swisher, Jason Giambi, and Mark Reynolds.
Another guy that pounds the strike zone. Tazawa went out there for 2 innings, threw 25 pitches, 17 strikes, had 4 strikeouts. He faced 6 batters, and 4 of the 6, he was first pitch strikes. And this is another guy that comes in and does the same thing with the strike zone. He comes in, he doesn't like to walk many guys. He's going to be around the strike zone, so be ready.
Last year, Koji Uehara posted a 1.75 ERA for the Texas Rangers and had the 3rd best strikeout to walk ratio.
Well, and when he was with Baltimore, same way.
Third best in modern Major League history since 1900. So you talk about throwing strikes. Yeah, this is the guy. 43 strikeouts, 3 walks last year.
That's like Dennis Eckersley style.
And Nick Swisher down on the count 0-2. 2 for 3 on the night. His 2-run homer got the Indians offense on the board in the 6th inning. And then Jason Giambi followed with a solo blast, counting for all the Indians' runs tonight. Chopped to first. And Swisher is out number 1. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. In the 6th inning, Swisher sent one to the bullpen and got the Indians on the board, and then Giambi followed with his first hit in an Indians uniform. A solo blast, high fives all around, and the Indians we're right back in it at 5-3. The next man up, Mark Reynolds, doubled. So there was nobody out. Tying run at the plate. Reynolds is at second. And then Junichi Tozawa, 1, 2, 3. Retired the next 3 in order. And the Indians haven't had a base runner since the Reynolds double. 7 in a row retired by the Boston bullpen. Now the count 1-2.
Well, and you see that progression that you talked about in this first at-bat, how many times he hit the ball sky high in the infield. The second at-bat, he hit it to deep center field. Third at-bat, he hit one out. And I mentioned the unfortunate thing is tomorrow with John Lester pitching, he's not going to see any game action, at least unless it's a pinch hit late.
Well, 2 down here in the 8th inning. Stay tuned after the game for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. 8 straight retired by the Boston bullpen since they come into this game. I mentioned before, it's not just the Red Sox starters, but their bullpen, and their bullpen lights out so far in this one. Tozawa, now Uhara. And Mark Reynolds looks at a strike on the outside corner. Eight out of 10 pitches from Uhara for strikes. He's got Reynolds down on the count 0-2. And that's up high. A pop in the air near the line. And it gets into the seats before Nava could get to it. So Reynolds has new life.
Tough play for any first baseman. Nava started the first 2 games in left field, but running down the line, it's not your home ballpark. You've got the seats. You don't know where it's at, and it was up there for a while.
Yeah, Mark and Jason, they can hit some towering pops. On a clear day with the sun up in the sky, they make your eyes water. They hit them so high. Here's the 1-2 now. And Reynolds fooled, strikes out. And the Indians go 1-2-3. So the Red Sox bullpen continues to mow them down. We go to the ninth. Came in and did his job. 1-2-3 in the 8th. 9 straight retired by the Boston bullpen.
Well, it's Pastano's turn now to come in and get some work. He will be appearing for just the 5th time. Talk about getting some work. So Vinny will coming on to face Nava, Middlebrooks, and Saltalamacchia.
Terminal Tower all lit up tonight. (6-3) Boston here at Progressive Field. Boston with 3 in the first, then a run in the 5th, a run in the 6th, and one more in the 8th after the Indians had cut the deficit to 2. That's smashed into right center. On the move, Swisher makes the catch, 1 away. Go back and revisit the keys to the game. Earlier tonight, we were talking about Justin Masterson, the ace, being on the mound. He didn't have it, but he did battle his way through 5 innings, and until he had 2 outs in that 5th inning, and it looked like he was going to get out of this with only allowing the 3 runs, but they got him for 1 more in that 5th inning. And, of course, Boston got on the board first. They have not lost a game when they have scored first. Andrew Bailey getting ready to come on for Boston in the bottom of the 9th. Fastball on the outside corner, and Pastano rings up Will Middlebrooks, 2 down. Tonight's box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. And Boston swung the bats well. They came out tonight, as Rick pointed out early in the game. They had a solid game plan. They executed it flawlessly against Justin Masterson. And before you knew it, they had 3 runs on the board. And then Justin had to bob and weave. I mean, they had the bases loaded in 3 out of the first 4 innings of this game and still only had 3 runs at that point.
7 of their 15 hits have come on pitch 1 or 2. So they were very aggressive, and they had a great game plan of going the other way, staying on the baseball. They better check.
Yeah, he went. Yes, no doubt about it. And a count 0-2 on Saltalamacchia. He is 0 for 4 tonight as Vinny Pistano tries to work a 1-2-3 top half of this 9th inning. Two-strike pitch. Swung out and missed. He got him. Pistano retires the side in order in the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Indians coming up next. Bottom third of the Indians' order due up. And Andrew Bailey will come on and try and save it for the Red Sox. 7th appearance on the year. Taking over for Joel Hanrahan, who's on the DL now for Boston as their closer.
Now, if you remember, they acquired him the year before. He started the first 116 games on the DL. 60-day DL. He had a right thumb injury and surgery on that. But this guy coming from Oakland, he was awfully tough. Then the injury set in and so missed most of the time. But if he's throwing it well, he was going to be the setup man when they went out to get Joel Hanrahan from Pittsburgh. So now he's going to step into that closer's role, and a role that he's been familiar with.
Josh Reddick has turned into a terrific player for the Oakland A's, so it's a trade that it's definitely worked out to this point better for Oakland.
Right now, yes.
But there's no question that this guy, Bailey, has phenomenal ability. And he misses with a fastball for ball 1.
I think when they get healthy, it's a very underrated bullpen that Boston has put together. That what we witnessed tonight, Tazawa, Uhara comes in, they throw nothing but strikes, and they turn it over to these guys. Their starters, you know, if they can give them 6 innings and they can get a lead, can be awfully tough.
Bailey, originally a 6th round pick of the A's back in 2006. Strike 2 with a fastball. So the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Court Phelps as the Indians try to get something started here in the bottom of the ninth against Andrew Bailey. Back out of play. Terry Francona's club in danger of losing their third straight. For the second time this year. Indians Live comes your way after the ball game right here on Sports Time Ohio. Al and Jason will have the highlights. Katie will have reaction from the clubhouse. Rick and I will have some final thoughts as well. It's all straight ahead. Fastball fouled away. So Phelps continues to battle. There's a high fly ball. Deep center. Back is Ellsbury. And he'll make the catch, one away. And that brings up Lonnie Chisenhall. A couple of hits on the night. Six-3 Boston here in the bottom of the ninth as Chisenhall digs in against Bailey. And a fastball over the outside corner for a strike. Andrew Bailey had Tommy John surgery back in 05 while pitching in college. But he's also had his issues professionally. He had an intercostal strain which landed him on the DL for a month back in 2010. Then in September of that same year he had surgery to clean up some bone chips from the elbow in which he had the Tommy John surgery. And in 2011 he had a strained right forearm. They were afraid it was the elbow injury, but it was not.
You know, Bailey, I think he hurt that forearm against us, the Indians, and ended up.
It was a spring training.
Yeah.
Swung out and missed, 2 down. Well, the Indians are down to their final out as Drew Stubbs steps in. Drew has walked, doubled, and struck out tonight. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Bailey blows it by him at 96. Fastball in for a strike. It's quickly 0-2 on Stubbs as he fouls it back to stay alive. The 0-2 swung on and missed, and the ball game is over. The Boston bullpen perfect tonight. They retire the last 12 Indians in order to end the game, and Boston wins at 6-3. They've won the series, and they've taken the first 2. A chance to sweep now in the series finale tomorrow for the Red Sox. And for the second time Already this year, the Indians have dropped 3 in a row. Final score tonight, Boston 6, Cleveland 3. And it's time for our key play of the game, brought to you by Key Bank.
Well, let's go back to that 5th inning. The Indians with an opportunity with 2 outs. Cabrera hits a ball deep to right center field, and Shane Victorino runs it down in his tracks, gets him out of the inning. And the frustration of Cabrera, because the way he's been going, you can see it right there. That's just the way his year is off to. You hit a ball good, but a fine running play by Victorino.
Key Bank proud to be the banking home of the Cleveland Indians. Final score, Boston 6, Cleveland 3. Stay tuned. Indians Live is next.